Today we are going to see the chapter 2 from trade to territory. The company establishes part. Chapter 2 from trade to territory. The company establishes part. In this chapter we are going to learn how East India Company entered into a country and then became ruler of a country. Before that, we have to know about our Indian history. I hope that we have learned in our previous chapter. Our historians divided Indian history into 3 parts. That is 3 periods. One is ancient period, medieval period and modern period. Our chapter lies in between medieval and modern period. During medieval period, Delhi Sultan and Mughal Emperor were ruled our country. This is a family tree of Mughal emperors. Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb, he was the third son of Shah Jahan. Aurangzeb was the last most powerful ruler. It doesn't mean that after his death there was no Mughal emperor. It means that after his death there was no powerful Mughal emperor. He was the one who established his control over a very large part of India. After his death in the year 1707, many Mughal governors called as Subadars and big Jamindars established his own small kingdoms. Delhi lost its position of an effective center, where Delhi is the capital of our country, isn't it? During that time, Delhi lost its position as an effective center. And then in the 18th century, slowly but gradually, who entered into our country? Yes, Britishers. Britishers already they have entered into our country, but in the 18th century, they slowly but gradually a new power, that is, they started emerging in India. What does it mean, emerging? That is prominent. Now we have a question that why Britishers came to India, and the next question arose in our mind that how East India Company became a ruler of India. We have answer for the first question that Britishers came to our country as traders. Now we are going to learn the answer for this question, that is how East India Company became a ruler of India in our chapter from trade to territory. The company establishes part. Now we learn East India Company comes east. In this we are going to learn how East India Company comes east. In the year 1600, it acquired a charter, that is a written grant from Queen Elizabeth I, that is to sole right to trade in East. What does it mean? That is the permission only for East India Company to trade in East. It refused the other country to trade in East. That's what the meaning of this. With this charter, the company had no fear of competition, as no other company of England could trade in East except the East India Company. In those days only they got a written agreement from the Queen Elizabeth I that only East India Company can trade in East. Company could travel across new oceans looking new lands for goods at cheaper rate and sell them in higher price in year. What does it mean? They bought goods at cheaper rate and they sold it at higher price. This type of business is called mercantile. Mercantile is nothing but a business makes higher profit. That is, they bought the goods at cheaper price and they sold it at higher price. And they can get the maximum profit from the goods. Okay, and the goods that they were bought are silk, cotton, clothes and spices. You know what are the spices? Cinnamon, cardamom, etc. and so on. Now, okay, they got a written agreement from Queen Elizabeth I. That is the only company they can trade in East. So they thought that there is no other competitor for the East India Company. But it is possible. But was it easy for East India Company to trade in East? No, isn't it? When it entered India, it found some competitors who were already trading. Who were they? When they entered India, that is East India Company, when it entered India, it found that some other competitors were already trading. Who were they? That is, they were the Portuguese who entered India in the year 1498 when Vasco da Gama discovered the sea route to India and reached Calicut. Even the Dutch arrived in Pulicat in the year 1595. Then came the French in Pondicherry in the year 1664. This created a huge problem as the goods become more expensive, resulting into less yearning for the East India Company. Is it clear, my dear children? Okay, when they entered into India, they found the other competitors like Portuguese, French, Dutch and so on. And what did company do then? Yes, okay, they have the competitors, isn't it? So, they have, what they do? Okay, what did company do then? Okay, let me see that. In order to safeguard its interest, each and every trading company entered into a trade war. That is, so they started sinking ships of their rivals, blocked routes and fortified their trading posts. This also led to conflict with the local rulers. Okay. And the sea route was the only way they can reach India. So they were blocked the routes and they fortified. And then what does it mean? What is the meaning of fortified? Fortified is nothing but provided with defensive work as protection against attack. Is it clear, my dear children? Fortified is nothing but provided with defensive work as protection against attack. Is it clear, my dear children? Let us see. East India Company begins trade in Bengal. Now we clearly know that East India Company entered India for trading. First English factory was set up on the bank of river Hooghly in the year 1651. The company made its warehouses, that is, it is a place where goods are stored. By the year 1696, they built a fort for their settlement. And it got a Diwani of 3 villages. Diwani is nothing but a tax collecting department. In the year 1698, one of the village is Calcutta. Now at present known as Calcutta or Kolkata. Meanwhile, the company also pursued Emperor Aurangzeb for foreman. Foreman is nothing but it is similar to charter, that is a written grant. Okay. For this foreman granted the company right to trade duty Is it clear, my dear children? Now let us see how trade led to battle. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawab asserted their power and autonomy. Murshid Quli Khan was Nawab of Bengal and was a strong ruler who started protesting against this. He was the first Nawab of Bengal, then Alivardi Khan and his successor was his grandson. Nawab of Bengal refused to grant the company concession as it was making the revenue from Bengal trade less profitable. British wanted their duties to be abolished, but Bengal Nawab refused. British officers knew the condition of administration of Bengal. They tried their autonomy by use of force. This led to the Battle of Plassey. Children, now we recall from the beginning. In today's class, we have learned the chapter 2 from trade to territory. The company establishes power. In that, we have learned that Aurangzeb was the last most powerful ruler of Mughal emperors. And after that, the British, and we have learned that how Britishers came to India and then how East India Company became a ruler of India. We know the answer for the first question, that Britishers came to India for trading. The first East India Company entered the East and they got agreement, they got a charter from Queen Elizabeth I. And then after that they entered India for purchasing that is silk, cotton and spices, and they wanted to buy these goods for cheaper rate and they wanted to sell them at higher rate. This type of business is called mercantile. And then we have learned that East India Company began trade in Bengal. That is, Aurangzeb gave farmer to the Britishers, that is to the East India Company. Officers started using format of duty-free trade for their own side businesses too, which resulted in huge losses of revenue to the Nawab of Bengal. This led to the battle. Nawab of Bengal refused and protested against this, and this led to the Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey we can see in the further classes. Thank you, my dear children. Have a good day.